Welcome to Byte-Sized Agency Briefs, a webinar series that packs a ton of important agency information on one topic from one expert into a 25-minute brief. Why 25 minutes? Because who has the attention span for much more these days? And you can squeeze in a listen between meetings with time for a bathroom break or coffee refill before your next meeting.
This is Byte-Sized Agency Briefs. I'm your host, Steve Guberman from Agency Outsite, where I coach agency owners to build the agency of their dreams. My guest today, I'm really excited to be talking with Traci Schubert Barrett. She's the president and founder of Navigate the Journey and the author of her new book, What If There's More? Traci, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
This is episode 40. I'm pretty pumped. Cool round number.
Congratulations.
This kind of, to me, was like, maybe there's an idea here. Let's launch a podcast. And it sat for a long time. And so to see this momentum and to be able to have people I admire like yourself on really is pretty cool. So I got a bunch of cool things I want to talk about because you have had such a journey. And I guess your probably most popular question is, what was it like launching a billion-dollar media empire? You were involved in the initial launch of HGTV. Can you kind of talk about what that excitement was like for you for 20 years?
Yeah. It's so funny because as you work with a ton of entrepreneurs, I do as well. And it was just like any other entrepreneurial endeavor, just a scrappy group of people with an idea. It was a small group too. And we were trying to, piece together a cable network. And back in the early 90s, when cable was kind of like what you think of the internet and the early 2000s, it's like it was the wild frontier. Everybody wanted to start a cable network. And there were so many cable networks launching that didn't make it. So there was no guarantee. And we all knew that. I think the year that we launched, or the time that we launched the very last day of 1994. There were 25 other networks that launched around those, the last day of the year, the first day of the next year, and only 2 survived.
Wow.
Including HGTV. So it wasn't a slam dunk. I think there were, a lot of us that were super hopeful. We thought we had a great idea. Our founder, the man who came up with the idea, Ken Lowe, he was just so dynamic. He was so good at really crafting mission and vision and core values and instilling it into us. And I bought it hook, line, and sinker. And I loved it. I think it was a group of people that were really dedicated to seeing this come to fruition. And we had a great time putting it together. But in the beginning, it was hard. Nobody knew who we were. And, it took a long time to get full clearance on television. And then once we did, it took off, and it was fun to see all the different evolutions of that network. And it was a good group of people, which is why I stayed for so long. But, we grew from, I was a 25th hire to thousands of people. And we bought the Food Network and we started other networks. And so it became a much bigger entity. But I feel blessed because it was the best training ground as an entrepreneur, and to be able to see a company from like non-existence all the way through. We took it public, and then eventually it's been sold a couple times since. But to see it through all those iterations, I think was like better than any MBA I could have ever gotten. It was fabulous. Yeah.
And now it's probably tough now that you're not in it, seeing it go through transitions and saying, what are you doing to my baby? That's not how we did it. That's not what it was supposed to be. That's got to be really challenging. Was it a lot like startup life is today, where it's like bootstrapping and kind of getting VC money, or was it not, or was it backed by a media company already, or how did it get going?
Yeah, it was backed by EW Scripps, who basically just own local television stations. And they wanted to, try out cable and see if they could expand to like a national presence. And so for them, they saw the promise of cable television. And so this was kind of their, they took a chance. They didn't give us as much money as we needed, but they gave us enough money to get off the ground. And so, definitely was super scrappy in the beginning. It's like anything you can imagine, where it's like, all right, hit the ground, hit the pavement, go out
Hmm.
there, talk to ad agencies, talk to clients, and just get money, because cable networks run on advertising dollars. And so it
Sure.
was all about that. And then the more money we got, the better programming we were able to make. So it's just like any company, you start out, the programming looks kind of sad, and you do the best you can, but then when you get more money, you create better shows, you get better talent, and and you build
Yeah.
it into what it looks like today.
So fast forward, you left there after 20 years.
Mhm.
Was there like an event, a crash for you? Like what was that like moment for you where it said, I got to do something else, or this isn't working for me, or
Yeah, it was after my 40th birthday. I was like in my 40s, had two kids at home, small kids at home, super busy life. My husband was super busy, and I had basically grown up there. And so I
Mhm.
started to get a little restless. It wasn't like I was unhappy necessarily. I liked my boss, I liked the company, I felt super comfortable there. I was basically on autopilot.
Mhm.
And I think I was, as you do when you kind of cross over 40, you look at the second half of your life and you think, okay, do I want to keep doing what I'm doing? Do I want to pivot? Do I stay where it's comfortable and safe? Do I take a leap of faith and do something different? I was flying all over the country constantly because I was one of the executives. So I'm like always in New York, or always, all over the place.
Mhm.
And I just felt like I wanted to be more present for my family. Nobody was getting the best part of me. And so I couldn't figure out what to do next or how to wrestle through those questions. And I just kind of up and quit, which
Mhm.
was shocking to everybody around me because I had this dream job, and I think people thought I was crazy, and maybe I was a little bit crazy, but I think I felt like, who am I outside of HGTV? What's my identity? What do I really want to do? Can I, create a life with more autonomy and agency and more figure out who I am outside of this, and maybe stretch my wings a little bit and see what happens. So it was super scary, but
Mhm.
it was definitely a leap of faith. So I left and decided that I would take a break and figure out what I wanted to do next.
Mhm. So the leap of faith was really powered by a lot of courage, like just whatever's going to be is going to be. We're going to figure it out as a family. You probably, I imagine you had the support of your family, but this is not, there was a wake up call of this is not what success is for me. This is not what my true happiness is. And like you said, nobody was getting the best versions of you.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was,
I feel like, I have been told my whole life, as many of us are, like, you can have it all.
hmm
You can do anything you want to do. You can have it all. Especially women are like,
hmm
like try to carry this kind of weight or banner. And I think, I realized, well, I guess I do have it all, but why am I not satisfied? And I find the more people I talk to, especially at that kind of crossroads of life, are saying the same thing. Like, I chased everything you told me I was supposed to chase. I checked off all
hmm
the boxes you told me I was supposed to. I have the big title and the money and the, success, and now I'm still wanting for more. What is that about? And so I think, along the way, early in my days of HGTV, I'd got my master's in psychology because I thought that was like the cool thing to do, because I had been pushed into management really early in my career, because, that's what happens in a startup. It's like, you're the warm body, like, you lead the people.
hmm
And I didn't want to get my MBA because I already had my business degree. So I was like, I'm going to get my master's in psychology. And I just became completely obsessed with motivational theory, like what drives us. And
hmm
I think, so many of us are driven, whether we know it or not, by what people our society is telling us we should be driven by. And I think when I woke up and realized, like, this is why I called my book What If There's More, because I kept saying there's got to be more. Like, what if there's more out there for me? And I
Yeah.
realized, what I was doing was sort of pushing into that self-actualization mode, where I was aware that I wanted to kind of reach my full potential, or I wanted it all to mean something more to me. And so I wanted to kind of go and discover, what does that mean? Everybody's telling us to live our best life, but that's great. It sounds wonderful, but what is my best life?
hmm
And so I started to just sort of dig into that process of, like, how do you figure out what the best version of you is? And then what is the life that fits you? And that became sort of my quest.
Yeah.
And that journey is what I write about in my book.
So fast forward, you launched Navigate the Journey, you wrote a book, you work with leaders across a bunch of verticals on how do they figure out what their significance is, well, what success means to them, but then what is their significance beyond that, or is that inclusive? What's that process look like from like a workshop standpoint?
Yeah. So what I do is what's called strategic life map. And then basically it's a strategic plan for your life. So,
Hmm.
one of the things Navigate the Journey is known for is strategic planning. So we help companies scale their businesses, and my husband's sort of the master of that. And we own the business together. And so he's, doing his thing, really helping, agencies and companies scale and grow. And what I've done is taken some of those traditional tools and then married them with like some psychology tools, and basically created a framework where people one-on-one can kind of go through the process of saying, okay, I want to figure these things out. I want to look at my life full 360, and I want to see, what got me to where I am today.
Hmm.
Who am I today? Like what are my unique talents? What are my true passions? What are my personal core values? And what is my purpose? And can I apply those things, not just to work, which is super important, but also to all areas of my life? And going through the process, it's so enjoyable and fun for me because I love hearing people's stories, and everybody has a different story. Everybody's had trials and triumphs. Nobody comes in
Yep.
like nothing's ever happened to them, right? And to process through that and to sort of reframe our self-limiting patterns and to understand the labels we've like taken on rightly or wrongly, and reframe those, rediscover who you are today, which is very different than who you were at 22. And then
Hmm.
look to the future and say, all right, now that I know all of this, what do I want to do? What's the best path? And so a lot of people come to me and they're like, these are the three things I'm trying to decide between. Like, should I sell my agency, or I already have and now I don't know what to do? Do I start something else? Do I do,
Hmm.
some people come to me and they're like, I just want to fall back in love with what I'm doing, and I just don't know how. They feel that same angst I felt, when I was at HGTV. Or there's some people that are like, I'm tired of pushing my dream to the side. Like, I want to do something crazy, and I know it'll seem crazy to everybody else, but it doesn't seem so crazy to me. And I want to vet
Hmm.
it out with you. And, sometimes those dreams sound, when once we go through the entire process, we think you should totally go after this. And sometimes it's like, you know what, you should make that a hobby. So the process really flushes things out, but people leave with an amazing moments of aha, and
Hmm.
they leave knowing who they are, even on a deeper level, but also they are able to articulate who they are. They have like words and definitions, and it's so empowering to them. And so a lot of people leave with confidence and really a clear action plan. That's another favorite thing is to like put pen to paper and say, all right, here are some things you can do over the next, 6 months to a year that's really going to help you move the needle on this. And
Hmm.
and that's freeing. Sometimes people think planning, for your life is going to be restrictive, or you shouldn't do that. You should just fly by the seat of your pants. But when we fly by the seat of our pants, we wake up one day and we're like, what just happened? Where are we?
Hmm.
I missed everything. And when you have a plan, you can more easily let go and live, because you have a direction that you're going
Right.
in. So it's such a fun thing to do. I love doing it. I love, what the clarity it brings to people's lives. And now we just launched a course because I really want it to be more accessible to all people.
Hmm.
And a lot of people just want to do it in the privacy of their own home. But I love how it's turned out, and it's been super exciting. So it's kind of my passion project, and I see doing it for, the next couple decades of my life because
Wow.
I just feel like it's the thing for me. And so really
Yeah, I
enjoying
love
it.
that. Do you find, and maybe it's not but do you find there more people come to you looking for this because they have that nagging question of why am I doing this 9 to 5? I wake up every day, I'm miserable, blah, blah, blah. What if there's more? Or they have a pivotal event in their life that says, wait, a lot of people come out of COVID like, oh man, life's too short. Why am I wasting time doing this or not doing that. For me, I had a pivotal event right before COVID that was like, life is way too short. You
Mm.
need to take a chance, have some courage, make a move, launch a thing, do whatever. So is it more the nagging question, or there's a pivotal event, or is it the same?
Yeah, I'd say it's both. I mean, I've had people who've come to me, because they went through a divorce, 6 months, a year ago, and they've restabilized and they want to, just redefine their lives. I've had people who've had very tragic events happen to them. But I've also had people that just have hit a crossroads, and it could be a midlife crossroads. It's really any kind of crossroads, I think, even if it's just an awakening crossroads where they wake up, like you just said, post pandemic, and they're like,
Hmm.
I know I have gifts and talents. I know this all should mean so much more to me. And work's always going to be work. It's going to be toil. But it shouldn't suck the life out of you. It shouldn't be this soul sucking experience.
Yep.
We should be able to find energy and reason in it. And so I think, sometimes when we hit those crossroads, whether it's an age crossroad or a life event crossroad, we're awakened to like all the different areas of our life, and wanting to really frame meaning around it so
Hmm.
that we can show up better. And so whether that's our, personal life, our professional life, or, life in our neighborhood or in our city, I think people are really trying to live more intentionally and trying to find some framework, especially because our world is so divided and chaotic. And I think people
Yeah.
are thinking, you know what, it can't, this isn't right. This isn't what life is supposed to be. And so I think there are people that are like, I'm going to make it different. I'm going to reclaim it for myself in a different way. And I'm going to push out all this noise and all this fear and all
Hmm.
this negativity. And I'm going to hold on to hope. And I'm going to figure out what my hope is and what I want to place my hope in. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, those are the types of people that are coming to me.
So in addition to reading your book, taking your course, going on an Eat, Pray, Love journey through India or Italy or whatever, what are, whether it's leadership, entrepreneurship, or just anybody, what are some of the questions that people could be asking themselves to really dig into? Is there more? Is this my purpose? Is this my significance? What should I be doing? What are some of those things they should be looking for?
I think people should be asking themselves, am I on autopilot? Is life living me or am I living it? And if
Hmm.
they feel like, dang, I think maybe I'm just going through the motions, and maybe I've just been following the pre-described, life I was supposed to lead, or, and if they realize that, then I think they need to ask themselves, what do I really want? And are the things I want worth wanting?
Worth
Are
wanting
they
and worth working for, right? Making the
right?
change for or doing the thing for. Yeah.
Yeah. Are they worthy? Because if you're just working for the money, I mean, you have to pay the bills, but is that really worth it all? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And or fame, which I find people are just obsessed with today. How many followers, or what's my platform, or all those things, and they have gotten their head all messed up into that. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, some of the most beautiful things happen in the space between two people in the ordinary day. So, maybe stop chasing after fame because it's not really worthy. And so just, waking your mind up to and asking yourself some of these questions, I think can be a very powerful experience for people.
Yeah. And even I think, I mean, that fame that people chase, that like the number of likes, that endorphin rush, it's people that they'll never even meet in person. There's no physical, like intimate, true connection there. And to me, I don't understand it. Like, and sure, I also get a rush. Oh my God, so and so many people listen to the podcast or liked a thing or opened my email or whatever. So I get it, but yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it's tied to somebody's true, authentic self.
Right. And
Um,
those things should be additive. They shouldn't be
yeah,
what's driving you.
right.
If you're really following your mission and you really honestly and authentically want to positively impact the world, then if those other things come, money, title, whatever, fame, great. Like those are additive, but they should
Hmm.
never be your driving force.
Yeah. One of the big things that I dig into with agency owners is what their goals are, but more importantly, why are they what they are? And
Mm,
not on the Simon Sinek track of like start with why, but more like are your goals true to you and to your family and what you want this business to be for your team and the people that are involved in it? Or are you like parroting somebody else's goal because you heard it sounds cool to hit 7 figures or 25 people or to exit through an acquisition or whatever? And it's amazing to me how many people realize if they ask themselves just a couple of questions, that's not even a goal that means anything to me. No wonder my team's not rallying behind me.
mm.
No wonder there's
Yes.
that disconnect between what I say and what we're actually doing. Why can't I get there? You can't get there because it's not really a true goal. It's not yours. You're not owning it. And
Yep.
so I'm curious for you, what does your vision of success look like?
Yeah, for me, again, one of the reasons why the subtitle of my book is Finding Significance Beyond Success. And
Hmm.
for me, redefining success away from that drive of like a money, fame, title
Hmm.
has been to just, use my gifts and talents, to help other people figure out what their full potential is, to
Mm.
help other people figure out how they can uniquely impact the world around them, big or
Yeah.
small, and help them realize it doesn't matter if it's big or small. But as long as they know, I believe we're all uniquely designed, just like our fingerprints on the outside, we're
Hmm.
uniquely designed on the inside. So tap into that. And so I feel like my mission on earth is to help people figure out what their internal fingerprint is and then go forth and really live that out. And so that's to me what success looks like. When I can help one person do that is when I
Hmm.
feel the best. I feel fulfilled.
Yeah, I love that. Now, are you still working in the agency with your husband, or focusing more on the coursework and the passion projects?
Yeah, both, both.
Okay.
So, Strategic Life Map is part of Navigate the Journey's offerings, and it's, my baby and my my thing that
Hmm.
I love to work with. And you'll see me at digital bureau events and different events talking about this type of thing because I think it's important for all agency leaders and owners to think about their life 360. And so
Yeah.
yeah, so it's definitely where I'm putting the vast majority of my energy, but we still do all the things we do at Navigate, so which is great fun.
There's so much to admire there. I mean, you juggle a lot, and it seems like you put passion into everything that you're doing, which I think is kind of this phase of your life that you've designed that I'm not going to do things that I can't put passion into. And like you said, help people find their blueprint. And so I really admire that because I think a lot of people will do the passion project because the 9 to 5 sucks the life out of them, or
Mm.
they'll have those side things that will feed their soul more. And it seems like you are just intentionally doing it in all areas, and that's something very inspirational. So
Mm.
I love that.
Thank you, thank you.
So I want to shift gears to a couple quick rapid fire questions, not related to the book, the course, the agency for you. So, what's a book or a show or a podcast or something that you just can't get enough of these days?
Oh, wow. There's a couple. So I am, as part of my journey, to living a significant life, I'm really into health and wellness. So,
Hmm.
as I age, I'm now in my 50s. And so I really have to make sure that I'm optimizing my health and I want to live a long and healthy life.
Hmm.
And so I listen a lot to Dr. Will Cole, is a functional medicine doctor. The Art of Being Well is one of my favorite, but I just started listening to Julia Louis-Dreyfus's new podcast,
Hmm.
where she interviews older women and about their wisdom. And it is like a mix of just what you'd expect out of Julia Louis-Dreyfus, like, really
Yep.
learning from these women, but laughing out loud at the same time. So I love podcasts. I love listening to them, and I could probably name about 10 and you'd be like, stop naming them. But those are two that I listen to a lot. Yeah.
Awesome. What is a tool, whether it's digital, physical, personal, professional, that you've recently integrated into your workflow or your day or just your life in general that you've now found completely indispensable?
Oh my gosh. I am not, as many tech firms that we help, I'm not a very tech person. But I do spend a lot of time on Slack and a lot of time on Trello. And I used to not be a big Trello board user, but now I am, because my my coordinator and my director of operations, they're really good at it, and they have just shoved me in there. And so now I'm dragging things over and checking and improving. And so I know that Trello is not new to most people, but
new to you and
new to me. And I'm using
and when you
it a
embrace
lot.
something and you're following the lead of somebody who is a power user, I think that it makes a huge impact. I use it for a lot of my my one-to-one clients. I track some of my gardening water schedules and things in the Trello board also. So
Love that.
it's not as satisfying as crossing something off on a piece of paper, but moving things over can be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So finally, what's an invaluable piece of business advice that you can share with us?
My best advice to myself and to others that I'm coaching is really, it's all about progress, not perfection. So every day, just try to be the best version of yourself, not somebody else. This isn't a competition. This is really the best version of you. And all that means is that you just try to be more curious. You try to learn. You try to just get a little bit better every single day. And when you go to bed at night, you can say, I did the very best that I could with what I have. And as opposed to that endless pursuit of being perfect or competition or, accumulation of things, just every day to me is just getting a little bit better. And I'll still be learning and growing till the day I die. And I've accepted that. So perfection is gone, but progress is to me completely doable. And so for us as leaders, if every leader just committed to that, what a better world it would be.
I love that. That's really, really powerful. So, Traci, thank you for your time. Thank you for your experience and wisdom. And I am grateful for you joining me today.
Oh, thank you. This has been great. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks again for tuning in to Byte-Sized Agency Briefs. As always, if you found value in this episode, chances are someone else will too, so please share it with your network. Also, if you know someone with expert knowledge on a topic that agency owners would love, drop me a note. Let's get them on. Finally, find someone to hug today.